Sweet. Welcome to my second GoPro video edit. Oh, whoa, I almost hit that guy right there. I literally was looking down at my GPS, like trying to figure out what I was doing, and then that guy was just there, and there was seriously just a car right there next to him, so he just missed barely getting hit by a car and a bike. Alright, I've got a real treat for you guys today because this segment is going to be awesome. So if you're not from the area, this segment is a reason to come to the area. This is going to be in a mix of cities. It's going to start out in Beaumont, California, and go into Oak Glen, which I think is a little town right here in San Bernardino County. So the segment that we're looking at is RBC 2017 Wildwood to Oak Glen Summit. And this is a real climb. This is a big climb. You're going to have fun with this one. So let's take a look at the leaderboard here. Alright, so our leader is TJ Eisenhart. And it looks like he did it in 25 minutes and 10 seconds. I looked up his segment just to compare and see where we were at. And his watts were 350 for his average watts up this whole climb. And so 350 watts for 25 minutes, that means his FTP is probably somewhere around 325 or maybe even higher. Who knows? Now I wanted to give you my approach for this whole segment. Since it is a long one, I feel like it's best to hold it together until you at least get up to the Oak Glen section of the segment. And so it's kind of, this whole segment is broken down into two major segments. And those two segments are the Wildwood Canyon Road Hell, which is what I'm about to be going up here in just a moment. And then the second part is the Citrus TT Wildwood. So both of them are pretty close to the same amount of distance. So just to compare, the Wildwood Canyon Road Hell is 4.16 miles, 1,079 feet of elevation with an average grade of 4.8%. Now once we get to the end of Wildwood Canyon, we're going to hook a left and start on a different segment. So the Citrus TT to Wildwood is less miles. It's 3.87 miles, but 1,161 feet of elevation with an average grade of 6.4%. So Wildwood actually has the steeper section of grade, which we're going to see in just a moment. But overall, the Oak Glen part of it, which is the Citrus TT to Wildwood, Citrus TT Wildwood, that's got the bigger climb overall. I'm approaching the steepest grade of this climb, and it's about to get brutal. So you can see that I'm at 4% right now, but it's going to start climbing up. There it goes, 5, 6, 7, 8%, 9%, 10%, and it's going to go all the way up to 15%. And we're going to fluctuate between 10 and 15% here for a decent little distance. And it's this grade is pretty short, but I'll tell you, it doesn't get any easier after this. So once the steepest part of the grade is over, then you're still dealing with about an 8% grade for another 2 miles to get to the top of Wildwood, and it's relentless. After you finish this steepest part, then you look up the road and you're like, oh man, it's flat. But no, it's not flat. It's a false flat. It ranges between, most of it all the way up to the end of Wildwood is going to be 7 or 8%. Near to the top, it will drop down to like 5%, and you'll have small sections of 4%, and then finally hit a small 3% before getting to the end of Wildwood. And so once you get to the end of Wildwood, then you'll hook a left up Beaumont Avenue, and we are jumping ahead to that part of the video right up here. So You can see that I'm at a 4% grade, and I'm going to be coming up on the stop sign to make my left-hand turn. And my advice for that Wildwood section of the segment is to hold it together up that steep grade, and just try and stay steady throughout the rest of Wildwood, because if you burn out on that steep part, man, you're gonna have a miserable time climbing the rest of Wildwood. But if you hold it together and only put out the wattage that you need to on the steep part, which will go up, I mean, I think I was in the 300s there easily, getting up that steep section. Once you get up that, then you hold a steady 200 to 250 watts, and you'll make it through that section. Now it's time for a snack for me, so I'm going to have a gel, get some fuel in my body. I'm about halfway up this segment. It's been a little while since I've eaten breakfast, so I want to make sure that I'm fueled well enough to make it to the top. And I've actually got a whole lot longer to go on this ride than just to the top of the summit up here. So I want to fuel properly periodically, and so I like these char gels right here. They're easy, they're convenient, and they're packed with 45 grams of easily digestible carbs. So when I have one of those, it doesn't sit in my stomach, it doesn't slow me down, make me feel heavy at all. It digests pretty quickly and pretty easily. So that's why I go with that, among other things. I will definitely be sharing some other tips, suggestions that I have for fueling on the ride, and a quick little funny story later on this ride. I also brought a Twinkie for myself. So near the end of the road, or near the end of the ride, I rewarded myself with a Twinkie for the last 10 miles or so. And I'll tell you, a Twinkie tastes pretty dang good at the end of a 54-mile ride. And when you need just a little bit of extra energy, the processed carbohydrates, the refined stuff, is what will digest the fastest. So food is not just about fuel, but it's also about tasting good, and it's supposed to be pleasurable. So a mix of more functional stuff, but also things that taste good, that you're going to enjoy and want to eat, are all good parts to being fit and to keeping nutrition on you for a long endurance ride. Now back to the ride here. I've got this ending section of the segment. I skipped through a few different parts of the climb up Oak Glen, but this is coming right up on Rio Ranch. And so over there on the left, they've got their ranch. This place gets packed in the fall. On Saturdays, lots of people coming out here to pick apples, to press cider, and see what kind of things they could pick up at the farm. And really, it's a fun family place to go. But it does get crowded, and parking does get bad at times. So back to my ride. You can see that I picked up the pace a little bit. It leveled off at 0% grade, so I'm taking advantage of that and really hitting it kind of fast. Even though my power is still pretty low, I'm only in the 100s right now. Oh, there we go. So back up the hill. So I'm out of the saddle, finishing up strong, and I believe this climb is up to the summit, and that should be the end of my segment. So I'm trying to finish strong, hitting this last little bit hard. You can see that I'm in the mid 300s up to 400-ish range, and here we go. So this is my segment. I did it in 51 minutes and 10 seconds. My average watts were 216, and so you can see right there, it's a 6.77 mile segment, almost 2,000 feet of elevation gain with an average of 5.6%. So, man, this was a hard ride. It's a hard segment, but it's a good solid hour. Or if you're a little bit faster than me, than maybe 25 minutes like that other guy. But either way, it's a beautiful ride, so come up here, enjoy yourself, have a long, difficult climb, and enjoy the countryside. Now I'm going to be coming up on what is the summit from the opposite side of Oak Glen, and that's also an awesome ride. This is the end of my video right here. I'm just wrapping this up, but the whole ride that I did was actually a whole lot longer. I ended up going up to the 38, riding all the way to Forest Falls, and then coming back down to Calamasa Beaumont area. And so you're going to see my final stats here. Let me pull them up onto the screen. And it's going to be 54 miles that I did in 4 hours and 11 minutes, 178 average watts, 6,800 feet of climbing, and 2,600 calories. So, awesome ride. Come out here and enjoy it.